can do a little housekeeping, because in the flux of everything, that's a good word, flux. We forgot to vote on putting back the $50,000 for council's consideration for the people to pick up trash. I make a motion that we place the $50,000 back in the budget for part-time employees with no fringe benefits. You have a second? All those in favor? Yes, ma'am, you may. Go ahead.
We're still hoping that we can get some kind of measures back in place so that when someone is apprehended littering, there can be some type of community service requirement. And I just spoke with Judge Sharp about his perspective on that, and of course you've got workers' comp and those type issues to review, but I'm requesting that we look at some way to make the litterers have to do something. Even if we put part-time people out there and someone gets hit, they've got to have workers' comp, and we've got other liabilities. Those are the issues that seem to keep popping up. So how do we deal with that?
Okay, I included in my motion recommendation to the administrator to research that with the county attorney and the finance and bring that back before we have third reading. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman,
Yes.
one solution on that $50,000, you hire one person who is over that, who is permanent, work those part-time people, which will not be a full work week. But if they're picking up the grounds at the Civic Center, the liability would be greatly reduced.
Yeah.
That might be a way to deal with that.
In an enclosed area.
Yeah.
Just a suggestion. And I'll do what you said.
Okay, thank you.
All I know is that being a good second lieutenant, my chairman said, would you please bring back to the finance committee this request? His second request was to bring back the need for the county to have a TV station. He feels like that, I'll put it in his words since we don't get adequate coverage from other media, and I'm not picking out any one media, that we need to be able to control that ourselves. I did share with the chairman that I asked, and this is actuality, this is not something I just goofed up. I believe in taking many surveys. I ask people, I'm not ashamed to ask people. I asked a goodly number of people, do they watch the city channel? And their responses were, well, they used to, but they changed it, but they didn't know where. And then I said, well, if the county has a channel, would you watch it? And most of them said, well, I don't know. And I said, well, let's put it another way. If we had to spend $150,000 or more to get it up and running, how would you feel about us having a TV station? And everybody, without exception, said, I would say put it on paper. That's all I do. Maybe. Roads. So I'm going to be like a good chairman of the finance committee and bring back that. And I'm even willing to make the recommendation that we put it back on the agenda so that full council can decide.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman? Yeah.
Yes,
I would support that, but based on the figures that I've seen, you're not looking at 150,000, you're looking at more like $250,000, because at one point it looked like 170 for operations, but not at $50,000 required annually for licenses, permitting, and so forth to have the charter channel. The issue with the charter channel is that limited numbers of people have access to that. Then you've got $50,000 of equipment that's needed to be purchased. So you're really creating a rather large, expensive financial requirement in our budget. And the problem we've got there is as you point out with paving, my suggestion, since I'm the computer whiz up here, is let's look at having a really good website for the county and a way for people to log in or whatever you do so that they can see the community calendars, they can see the check registers. Let's have it so people can navigate through all of that to where they want to go. I know we've got some of that in place now, but if you've got all of these things so that those with people with computers, and they're far more with computers and smartphones that can access those types of media, then you would have being able to get to the charter. That I would rather apply a little more money to that effort and give that a try for the year and keep the other on the back burner as an idea until we see how that goes.
All right.
That's my suggestion.
Is it true, Mr. Burns, we have to pay a $50,000 a year fee?
Upfront cost, you would pay around $50,000 in licensing and fees. You would pay a one-time cost of $50,000 for the equipment necessary. Then you would have, in the entire proposal, 2 salaries that would go along with that.
Well, it's 2.5, isn't it? It's 2.5, isn't it?
2.5 what?
Positions,
2 full-time.
2.
2 full-time,
Yes.
With
no
benefits.
part-time.
No part-time. Currently part-time.
So are all those costs included in this budget? Included a $50,000 one-time fee?
They should be in there, and I'm positive that they are.
They are, but it's starting October 1st.
Well-
About $400.
Mrs. Davis got up for us, shows administrative salaries part-time $24,000. Who is that?
This is
That was for
predicated.
them, that was for them. That's so that for July 1st through September 30th, they would be part-time, no benefits. October 1st, 2015.
For what?
To get the channel up and running.
And then that if you look down at account 199 personnel request, 91,705 would be 9 months with benefits. That's how much it costs.
So really, the budget's gonna be more than that per year. Because I didn't even know that was 9 months.
You would have $50,000 every year in licensing and fees, that's a fact. And then $91,000 in salaries. But for a full year, it'd be a little bit more than that, and I get you that number.
Yeah, it'd be about 130.
About 130.
And then you
And
have 180.
those are the costs. And they are contained in the budget, the original budget
So-
that was submitted.
Mr. Chair, so say that again, the total cost per year would be 50,000, every year 50,000 for
Yes, sir.
license.
Yes, sir.
Then we got another 90 for
Charter fees, and that's for server fees, and all of that.
everything. So
That, then it's a one-time $50,000 cost, okay, for equipment.
But it
Equipment.
would be over $150,000 for all the costs per year.
per year.
And the 2 salaries with benefits and everything, probably pretty close to what Mr. Crowder said. Yes, sir, absolutely.
Well, I will tell you, I had several people say, well, won't you just create an app so we can look at it on our iPad or our iPhone? Because everybody's got an iPad or an iPhone.
And I'm not gonna belabor the point, but the thing is, this will be accessible on your iPhone, it will be accessible on your computer, and it would be accessible on people who have charter. Would you also have to look at ways to see if you could get it over the air? Yes. Is that technology there at this point in time? No, I'm not gonna tell you it is, but that's where you are right now.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of the TV idea, but I'm changing my mind because the cost of that is basically kind of prohibitive when we're trying to cut the budget as it is now. And I'm just wondering, somebody I'm sure out there, some advertising guru somewhere, you can probably look it up on the internet, can tell us what is the most effective way to advertise. Is it TV? Is it radio? Is it newspaper? What is it? But I don't think for $150,000 or $60,000 a year that we'd get our money's worth out of the TV station, honestly. Maybe the app. I disagree with with my buddy, Mr. Crowder, I don't think everybody in the county's got an iPad, because I don't, well, have, except what the county gave me. But, so there are a lot of people who don't have one, but based on the cost to do that app, would probably be more cost effective than trying to set up a TV station for a year.
All right, so we have,
we'll leave that.
we have two people that don't think it's a good idea, so.
I would go with the app, maybe.
Okay. Well, we don't, my question is, do we have a motion?
Mr.
on
Chairman.
what Mr. Dunn wants?
May I make the motion that we get some updated information on maybe an expanded website and app, potential to get the word out to our citizens in lieu of a media department, certainly for this year anyway.
Well, I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, raise your hand. All right, moving on. Now, let's see, what was that cost center that I wanted to go back to, Ms. Davidson?
You want to look at page 58, that'd be.
68?
58.
Yes, sir. Okay. We're trying to do some more cleanup work. Because what's happened is we've got involved in these things. And we've either said, I'll come back to that later, or kick the road down the bucket. Page 58, we've got 5213, Communications Center. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I don't see that line item, Ms. Davis.
You were talking about 103 overtime, sir?
No, I'm talking about the three, oh yeah, there. Overtime. All right, so we got, we have a request for $487,000. I'll make a motion that we cut that to $187,000. I have a second.
I'll second.
I have a second. Any discussion?
May we also maybe make sure there are adequate staffing levels over there, trained staff? I think that would
Well,
mitigate.
of course, we've already voted to give them the raise. And remember when we talked about implementing the recommendation, didn't we vote on that?
Yes, sir.
We voted on,
No,
it's on my sheet, it's checked off.
In the budget, there was a 2% across the board.
Yeah, vote
But
for
then
that.
they voted to reduce that to only those, bringing those
Right.
departments to minimum, of which
Right.
communications was one
That
of
was
them.
one of them.
right.
But,
But was that what you were referring to, Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I thought he was referring to what he had discussed earlier.
today,
No.
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that's, yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
So we've already voted on bringing all these people on this sheet up to the minimum,
Yes, sir,
okay?
that is correct.
All right. So we have a,
Yeah.
all those in.
Well, I had a comment, yeah. So you're talking about knocking that $487,770 of overtime, and this is for the 911 people, down to 187. I think that, I don't know how to word this, but because of the laws and the system and the way we have to pay overtime and so on, I think we're kind of locked into that number right now. If we knock it down to 187, I don't know that that's feasible legally to do that.
Are we not advocating maybe a reorganization for them so that that's not so necessary?
That would be the optimal way to do it, and, I mean, it's been done this way for years. Maybe nobody in Anderson County is smart enough to figure out how to do it any differently to save money, but I think this number is kind of locked in right now. If we drop down to 187, there's gonna be a lot of holes in 911.
Well, if you remember, one of the contacts that I had last year was a young lady that works over in that department. She loves her job. I'm assuming she's still there. And I asked her from her perspective, what was the reason for the turnover. And she said, well, I don't really know, but I'm wondering if the overtime requirements and maybe people don't understand as fully when they take the job over there. They don't understand that it's pretty demanding. So I'm wondering if maybe we get a little bit of a review over there to see what can be done to make it a more attractive job for people and less arduous. I can imagine anyone having a struggle having to be in 15 minutes early for a 12-hour shift that's as emotionally draining as that can probably be. And then some days adding another 4 hours to it, that's pretty rough.
May I make
Yes.
may I make a revised motion? I make a motion that we approve $187,770 in this line item and place the remaining $300,000 in the administrator's budget with the anticipation that we will launch a contract with some outside professional service that can come in and study how we can cope with our scheduling problems so as to minimize the use of overtime. Is that a worthwhile approach?
I would agree with that.
So that way we're holding the money. Okay.
Well,
I'll second that amendment.
well, for discussion, I don't know why we need to move it to the administrator to do that. Couldn't we just leave it where it is and still have somebody come in and?
Well, that gives him control of it, not somebody else. Because after all, I've already made the, well, there will, might as well say it now, there will be a resolution on not this council meeting, but the future council meeting to undo the memorandum of understanding that moves costs on us back under the administrator. Okay, so this way, everybody can know things in advance. It won't be any last minute, people did not know. So, you go on.
I'm probably going to abstain on the vote because I'm a little on the confused side right now. I'll probably abstain right now on the vote, but we'll go ahead and vote. Go ahead and vote.
All those in favor of it? Do you in favor of it or not? Okay? So Ms. Wilson and Francis brought in favor of it. Keep in mind, council's got to prove everything. And,
I'll abstain.
John abstains. All right. Now, what do we need to go to, Ms. Davis?
That would be page 79, sir.
79. Well, we actually, 79, yeah. That's district paving. Well, now, this district paving, does it include the $3.4 million thereabout? Remember, we have a million in a contingency fund, right?
Yes, sir.
Got $1 million in a contingency fund to match the C fund.
Right, yes, sir.
And then we've got $1.5 million plus the carryover.
That is correct.
Has that been distributed fully into these budgets?
It has, sir. Yes, sir.
Pardon?
Yes, sir. It's contained in these pages.
It's contained in this budget.
Yes, sir.
And it's
Pages
based,
79 through 85.
it's based upon the famous Eddie Moore formula of 75% equal distribution and 25% by miles.
Right.
But keeping in mind, District 1 may have the least amount of miles, but if all of a sudden the state has its way and dumps all the state roads that are under a mile or whatever it is into the county system, District 1 is going to take a quantum leap, but I know we can't deal with that right now. But also, District 1's taxpayers pay county taxes in the city. as well as city taxes. And they are complaining to me, why do we not spend money in the city? So I won't fight that battle right now. We'll move on down,
Mr. Chair, can I ask a question on that? Does the city have a paving program? They have no paving program. Okay.
That's what they told me. I asked him, I said, John, do you have a paving program? He said, well, the state has it.
Okay.
Isn't that right, Mr. Byrne?
The majority of the roads in the city are state roads, the main primary roads.
All right, now we're on page, I don't have any problems with any of the districts. Do y'all have any problem with any of the districts?
Always, 7 needs more money.
Pardon? Well, I need more money. I'm not gonna give you money. I'm sorry. Do we have any more? All right, so do I have
Just a minute, please.
We can move that, those districts to the, full council.
Yeah, I move that we approve all the district paving accounts to full council.
I'll second.
Those in favor? Let the record show it was unanimous. Now we're on page 86, which is the district requisite. Well, we don't need to approve those because those are there just to tell us where we spent the money. Okay? So we can skip 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. All right, employee benefits. Okay, now, we need to regurgitate this $640,350 that's for cost of living merit. Because, you know, it's my understanding that the raise that we are proposing is all rolled up into this right here.
For the general fund, that's correct.
Is that true?
Yes, sir.
So now that figure is going to be bigger or less?
Less.
Going to be less.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's going to be something because it's going to be a mix of our reductions and then our increases in payroll. All right.
Council on the April 28th meeting, sir, voted to reduce it by $257,000. So now that new number would be $383,340.
Okay. So does anybody have any questions about page 96? I just wanted that for clarification. Good. I'll make a motion that we approve the items 5831. Motion.
Second.
All
And
those in
that
favor?
includes reducing 640 to 383.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right, moving on to appropriations. Of course, these are things that individual council members or council has put in the budget, some of which have been here at least for the 5 years that I've been here. And a few have asked for increases, which personally, I think if they wanted increases, they'll pay for it out of their district rec fund, but I'm willing to let them be in here, $1,000 here and $2,000 there.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am, you may.
We've read and heard reports that this new foundation's children's, whatever it is, has some serious trouble, and they are up for $10,670. May we get a report on that, and if those are substantiate allegations, then shouldn't we look at applying those monies elsewhere?
Yeah. Can the administrator research, I'll have the attorney to research that and report back to us before.
Might be appropriate if we asked the director
Yeah.
to come before the finance committee and discuss that.
So, shall we table that until we could approve all of it except that one? All right, you want to make a motion to approve all of it?
Yeah, go ahead and make
Come motion under special appropriations, Department 5851, that we approve all of those amounts except for
You found it.
line item number 75, new foundations. We'll exempt that one until we get more information.
I have a second by Ms. Wilson. All those in favor? Let the record show it was unanimously. Anybody got any questions about family court? Civic Center. All right, well, I reckon the big question I have about the Civic Center is, we are actually forecasting less revenue this year than we did, next year as we did this year, is that not correct?
I think he had more. Yeah, the division director was recommending more.
More?
He's thinking it's gonna be more from rental property.
Come on, show me where. Please, ma'am. I'm not calling you a fiddler, that's not it. I just wanna see what page that's on. Revenue.
Yes, sir. If you look under the revenue tab, it should be the third page in.
Third page. I'm on
You see that
it.
000140?
250, all right. Okay, here's the question. 250, this year's revenue that you gave me a report on, remember I asked you
Yes,
for a
sir.
report through,
By V, yes, sir.
yeah, was $211,000
Today.
today.
Mhm.
All right. Can they give us some assurance that they're gonna meet this $250,000?
No, sir, I don't think there's any problem. This is just their best guess based on historical data and events they know that's gonna be held out there.
Well, see, we have a firm foundation on anything that's funded by general fund, because we know we're gonna recover that money from tax millage, right?
Yes, sir.
In the case of approving a budget, that foundation is based on projected revenue that we got to earn, has less foundation, because we're dealing with a forecast without, I hope I do this. Okay? So, I know that we have not had any success with a marketing manager. I'd appreciate if the administrator would look carefully at whether or not we need to increase the salary of this position that we haven't filled all year. So what I'm getting at,
Yes, sir.
so that we get somebody
Yes, sir.
that can market it, because we need to market the Civic Center. I think the Civic Center is a good thing, but if you take a look, a lot of people who use it are us, we and us, if you know what I mean. That's bad English. Okay? And, so, I fully support the Civic Center. And,
But we will look at that, Mr. Chairman, there's no problem.
yeah, so we want to be as helpful as we can. We just need to know in what areas we can be helpful to make this thing a success.
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am, you may.
we know we're looking at the very important need of a new roof out there, so is that in our bond proposal that we'll be taking up? About $1 million?
No, ma'am, that's currently budgeted in a special revenue fund, accommodations fee.
Okay, so we will take funds out of accommodation
Yes,
fees
ma'am.
to cover.
Since that's one of our major draws for children.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions about the Civic Center?
Looking better.
Yeah, they're doing better. So we probably could have got another $70,000, $20,000 out of it. But anyway, let's just laugh. Sports Center, anybody got any? Now, I would like, Mr. Administrator,
Yes, sir.
I would like for you to look at what it would take to upgrade the Civic Center to have a few more soccer fields. But you will recall that I had a request from one of our citizens in the area that actually promotes soccer
Yes, sir.
and promotes soccer tournaments.
Yes, sir.
And soccer is getting to be a big deal. In fact, I feel like, I have no basis for this, but I just feel like soccer is going to be the next football or whatever. I know I wouldn't want to play it. But at least could you get with Mr. Brill and whomever you so desire and come up with some idea, and it might be good to even get the gentleman, I sent you a copy of his letter, and see what he's talking about, because he makes reference to good soccer fields like in Florence, Aiken, Rock Hill.
Yes, sir.
Was the one he said was wild. I know that we can't do all of that.
But, Mr. Chairman, listening to what some members of council said, you in particular, we have already begun to look at some areas where we could possibly have a soccer field, and on the balloon launch field, we have some preliminary sketches and some very preliminary costs on adding soccer fields there that would not take away from any balloon festival or any other activity that would take place there. So we're following what we've heard. We'll get you some good numbers on that.
If you could do that before, because what I'd like to do is, if necessary, put in the bond bill a reduction on the building that I've suggested we need to build, and put some money, just like Mr. Waters wants his, whatever. I know. But, the alternative could be a 2% hospitality tax. Wash my mouth even saying that, I don't want that, but that is an alternative. So, y'all have any problem with me just asking him to do a study? Bring back a recommendation? Okay. And one of the things that's not in the book, which maybe we need to resurrect right now, is the possible need for a new financial management system. Okay? And so in talking with Mr. Dunn has already asked me about at least 4 or 5 times, what have y'all done about it? I keep telling him we're trying to get through the budget. You know what I mean? Because this is no easy task. People think that all we got to do is come here and that's all. My prep time for just today's meeting was probably 4, 5, 6 hours yesterday and 3 or 4 hours the day before, and 2 nights sleep lost in preparation to come here. Because I don't enjoy it. Cutting and cutting, and adding and adding. I wish it were a perfect world, we could just say, all right. But anyway, what I'd like to do is put a holder for $1 million in the bond for financial management system. Can we do that legally?
I would have to talk to the bond attorney, sir.
I know it's well.
Since it's not, you really can't go and,
Yeah, but,
it's usually for buildings.
well, there are tangible assets and there are intangible assets.
Right.
And it's a fine line, so if you'll ask,
We'll look into that, sir.
okay. Because if not, then we may need to add some money to the capital lease money.
Yes, sir.
I
That'd
know
probably
we
be
do it
more.
that way.
Yes, sir. That'd
Okay.
be
Now,
more.
I'm not saying we're gonna spend $1 million.
More appropriate.
I don't know. I can tell you, well, people tell me quit saying what you used to do when you were whatever. But my software package years ago for a fully blown financial management system of this size would be about $800,000. That included like 3 or 4 weeks of training, plus do all the installation, provide all the users manuals. You know, so I don't know what they're selling for now. But you have been, Ms. Davis has been kind enough to get us a list of what the counties in our tier are using, and there appear to be 3 fairly consistent, at least 2 fairly consistent, and one other one that are already in South Carolina. We might only add 1 or 2 more on the list. Okay, plus to look to as soon as we get through this. But there needs to be some money set aside if we're gonna do it, to do it. Because that will then cut down on some of the repetition, like in your department, like when you are in an invoice and you prorate the bill across 16 cost centers, you have to enter that thing 16 times, right?
Yes, sir.
You'd enter it one time, and you put the 16 cost centers underneath it, hit enter, and it distributes the money out. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
A lot of labor saving. So, any questions about the 101, the Civic Center? All right, transfers, hearing none. Is it all right for us to move forward with 101 to the Finance Committee? I mean, to the Capital. So you have, make a recommendation, you second it. Okay. All right, then we have, page 102, we've got transfers out. We're gonna put money for grants. The only one I had a question was the brownfield. Why are we putting, transferred $60,000 out for brownfield?
It's a required 50% match, sir.
So have we applied for a grant?
Have we applied for that?
We applied for it, but we haven't heard.
Hadn't heard, but it is applied for.
So it is applied?
Yes, sir.
No problem. All right. And what is the park recreation money? $11,750.
That's just a part match if we get any part grants.
For what project?
The East-West Park is one of them.
I just want to.
Yep, it is.
East-West Park is one of them.
I have a
And there's
list.
one at Broadway Lake.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
That's all right.
I've got a list.
Do y'all have any questions about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I yield to the honorable.
No. Okay. Since I see mass transportation here, in 25 words or less, can you give us an update on what's going to happen with the bus system?
The bus system, the cost of the new bus are in the budget.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Okay, and does that include in that 179, 250?
Yes, sir.
And
That
that-
is the cost of the new bus.
And that is to continue the routes also,
As is,
Both routes.
both routes?
no additions, no subtractions.
Okay. And that will still be handled by the city?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I have one question. Does that still include the $50,000 money from Tri-County Tech?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It does.
It does.
So. Any problem with, transfer out funds? Who wants to make a motion? A motion by Ms. Wilson, second by Ms. Dowling. All in favor? The vote was unanimous. So we got through the general fund. So we can really move through the rest of it. Let's don't vote on each one of them separately, if y'all don't mind. Can we just go through it? All right. Well, of course, the thing on page 1 is no money, so it's nothing for the vote on. All right. Page 2, Pendleton Bike and Recreation Path, $30,000. So, is that out of park grant money or what? What grant is that?
I'm looking for my grant cheat sheet, sir.
I
let me,
mean, I have no problem with what they want to do, I just want to do some fund it. I fully support the whole,
you go to the window check.
Yeah, I know. But I didn't have my name in the paper, you got yours.
Did you want to know on page 1, sir, that 500,000, is that $5 million?
Page 2.
Page 1.
$30,000.
That, okay, the $30,000 is the Pendleton Bike and Pedestrian.
I know that one, who's paying for it?
Just a moment, I'll tell you. The federal grant's paying for that.
Oh, who?
And $21,783 is a federal grant.
A federal grant,
$8,217 is coming from our infrastructure fund.
8,000, the match
Yes, sir.
is coming from my infrastructure.
Yes, sir.
Now, real quick, going back to page 1, CIP, and
Yes, ma'am.
what is that composed of?
That's set aside funds. That has yet to be identified, Department of Commerce.
Okay,
Mr.
oh,
Burge and
and-
Nelson ask for money, sometimes they're so nice to help us out.
Oh, I didn't see it, yeah, I did. I did. Let's go back to page 1. All right. What particular project is that $5 million?
Yet to be identified, sir. That's
Huh?
yet to be identified. That's just put it in there just in case he gets some funds.
So that's a future project
Yes, sir.
able.
Most definitely.
Yes.
Most definitely.
All right. All right, now we'll go to page 2. Now we'll go to page 3. What is that for $65,000 professional services for?
Three. That would be Tour de la France, and that's paid for all by local contributions, sponsorship money.
Thank you. All right, Little River Rally, that's $10,000, that's park maintenance for up there. What fund is that coming out of?
That's ATAX money.
ATAX.
Yes, sir.
I see with the future software package, it would have the revenue at the top that showed what was gonna support this expense at the bottom. Then we wouldn't have to. Huh?
There you go.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
That's right.
Huh?
That's right.
I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
that idea is only 25 years old. I'm kidding. I know you got what you got. I appreciate it. Solicitor? Anybody got any questions about the solicitors? Okay, no question. All right, farmers market fundraising. What's that?
That's just them. They had some leftover funds. That's just a fund balance.
That's there.
Just paying, yes, sir. They had raised the funds.
All right, let me ask you something. Mr. Dunn, weeks ago, said he wanted to appropriate $8,000. Six?
Yes, sir.
6,000. Wow. Alzheimer's is beginning to come. I'm kidding. $6,000 for the farmer's market advertising. He said
Correct.
he was going to appropriate it, but then I think y'all found some money.
Yes, sir. That transfer will be coming before you.
Pardon?
That transfer will be coming for you next
Well, I'm not
financial
worried
year.
about that. My question is, what about in this year's budget? Have we got any money from the farmer's market in this year's budget?
In the upcoming,
Yeah.
yes, sir, we
16.
do. We do.
Huh?
Well, it's on the change sheet. The administrator recommended to get them up to $4,700, sir. But we're asking that council consider raising them to $4,700.
That's in the new change sheet, right?
Yes, sir.
The one
That's
we
in the
have
new
discussed.
changes. That's what they originally asked for, we're asking that be increased to 4,700.
So can you get somebody to go make 3 copies of that? So
We've got them right here,
So
sir.
you got,
One is emailed to you.
all right, then we got the airport park, it's nothing there. Quick job, it's nothing there. Highway 29 improvement, $3.5 million. What is that the money that I asked ARC for indirectly?
The 3.5,
Uh-huh.
that's the Cherokee Road, I believe. US
There's
29
one for
improvement.
29, Highway 29.
Yeah, this one, that's one they're on.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
was
is
that
that?
ARC?
That's ARC.
Yes, sir, it is.
That's ARC.
It's not on my sheet.
Have they ever approved that yet?
It's approved.
Approved? I want council district, whatever, to thank the wonderful effort of council district 1 in lobbying for that budget.
I have profusely and will continue to do so.
I'm kidding.
There's so many businesses out that way that have suffered for years, and it'll really help matters, so thank you again
Okay.
to all that helped.
On page 10, the spec building, since we don't have a spec building now, is this money for our next spec building? Okay. Any problem with that?
And are we to assume that that's placeholder for grant application, perhaps?
So we have already sold the property, 12 acres of the property that we purchased to Wexler. That transaction has been closed. We still have the remainder of that property. And so we sold it for what we had in it. So now we are in the process of looking for another site.
Yeah.
And you know, the remainder of the property, about 13 acres plus or minus, they have first right of refusal, but it's like a really long first right of
So
refusal.
first right of refusal is somebody comes in tomorrow and says they want to purchase it. They have the first right of refusal. If they say no, we can sell it the next day.
No, if you read it, it's like, I think something like 2 months turnaround.
It's not a prohibited amount of time.
Okay. All right, thank you.
It's not like tied up for 5 or 6 years. It's not.
Any question about that? Any question? All right, grants, well, awards, we don't have that. State shield, what is that? Is it?
That's just a leftover money served for exercise, emergency planning.
Exercise what?
Emergency planning exercise, that's some leftover funds that we're budgeting for them to spend in the upcoming budget year.
Money comes from the state.
I know, well, thank you.
We've already gotten it, it's in the bank,
Yeah, sure.
we need to spend more.
All right, all storage account, y'all don't have any problem with that, do you? Price of Mustang is nothing. Transfers out, it's nothing. Board of Recreation, Jolly Cooper Park, that's the money that's been put in, that's in the bond. Has anybody got any problem with that? You got any problem with that? We have no problem with that. All right, we'll vote on all these in a minute. So far, we on the road. Water recreation, Green Pond, there's no additional money. Right? Then we have the SROs for the sheriff. I don't have any question about that. Public defender, I don't have any question about that. That's what's required by law, right?
Yes, sir.
Public
Ask a quick question, just for clarification. The first page says Anderson, And the second page says Anderson and Oconee, so the second page is Oconee County's part of it, of that requirement?
The second page is a Coney only.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions about that? All right. Home program, is there any questions about the home program? No question. Home program, City of Anderson, any question? That's where the money gets distributed. Now, is this gonna be increased by this $2+ billion that's been allocated, or is this already?
It's not gonna be in this fund, sir, it's gonna be in another fund.
It's gonna be in another fund?
Yes,
so
sir,
we don't
it's
see
on the
that-
change sheet as well.
That's on the change sheet that we haven't seen yet. City of Belton, nothing. CHDO, nothing. School District 1 SRO, anybody got a question? Assessors mapping project, anybody got any question about it? Brownfield assessment, that's the grant that had $60,000 match. Does that mean we're gonna get $180,000?
120?
We're gonna get 120?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna use.
Well, no, we're gonna get 60 and then you're gonna match 160, so you got
But don't we need to have
120
180 in there?
for remediation for Brownsfield.
Okay. Community-wide assessment. That's the 320,000.
Yes, sir.
And then we got, CDBG grant. Who is that for?
I'm sorry, which page you on, sir?
Home page 30.
30.
As
Okay.
far as Homeland Park, the current one that we're working on is for
That's
Sandy Spring Water
been
Company,
reborn.
primarily for low and moderate income people in the LaFrance area, in that old mill village area. That's completely a pass-through.
No money required on our part at all.
Yeah, it's just pass through.
Yes, sir. Sandy Spring Water.
All right. We have again, well, that's just the total page. SRO District 5, I want to follow that. Transportation Committee, that's the Seafront Committee.
Yes, sir.
Any
That's
questions?
just the committee. They get a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit of money.
Any question? No question. Contract 210, 211, Seafronts, or we just take all of these. The next page, the next page, and the next page, and the next page, and the next page. These are all actually the Seafront money that's been allocated but not spent, but they still showing up on the books. Is that right?
Not necessarily allocated, of course, but it's projected that we'll receive that money.
We will receive that.
Yes, sir.
Back in the future, previous year.
Well, on page 39, that's in the, that'd be in the
You know
future.
what I'm talking about, they for, well, yeah. But see, like on page 35, you've got contract 2011, 2012, you've got $26,115.
Right. That's how much still left in that,
Well, that's what
at that
I'm-
time, but to be honest with you, it may have already been spent by now.
That's what it said, is
So that
money
was
that's
a
been
guess.
appropriated but not spent.
Right, yes, sir.
And transfer outs, that's the money being transferred out. What kind of transportation is that? $2,000.
That's that $2,000 that every year they allow us to transfer into that Fund 137 that we just saw for printer cartridges, paper, for all the reports that they have to
So
generate.
this is for support services
Yes,
for the
sir.
Seafront.
Yes, sir.
Y'all got any question about that? Special education, Tri-County Tech, anybody got any questions on that? They do have it's a $90,000 increase over last year.
That's primarily composed of the increased value of the mill, is that what I understood?
That was the increase in, security staff. Or what?
I'm sorry?
The $90,000 increase in Tri-County Tech,
Yes, sir.
what's that for?
That's
Security,
Security.
Yes, sir, at all
Security at all
campuses.
their campuses.
All right, just want to get it on the record.
Okay.
Security. All right.
Any problems?
The airport, now boy, SRRC. So my question now, but we'll just play our little game, but we don't need to play it too long because I want to get them those pensions. If we transfer the money over to building and grounds to do the airport's work, then look like we would do like we do with fleet services, we charge back to the airport that thing that building and grounds did for the airport. Just question.
I hear you. That's a good point, sir. I hear you. Yes, sir. Some direct costs that the general fund absorbs
I'm just
is
talking about
directly
direct costs,
attributed.
we're not even talking about indirect costs.
No, I'm saying direct costs.
You did.
That's
I
right.
said direct
That's right.
costs.
And you talk about indirect, right?
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so can we accommodate that as it occurs, so we'll know what we're dealing with next year as a full amount?
If that's council's desire, sir, we will do whatever you ask.
We'll do that.
Well, we're still having to pay FAA required rent for communications, and
Yeah.
there's so many strings attached to running an airport right now. The problem I had, I went back to last year's budget and pulled it out, and I was in the middle of trying to make comparisons when it was time to come onto the meeting. But it would be really nice, since we don't have it as an enterprise fund where we could track increases and decreases, and all we have is like everything zeroed out until the department request and the administrator's request. It'd be nice to have that side by side for comparison.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Presley has already prepared that, and we will definitely get you a copy of that.
Okay, thank you.
So is it unanimous that we like to have that cost included? Did you say yes, Mr.?
Yes, yes.
And you said yes, but we've asked you to do that.
Yes, sir. We'll
That
get
doesn't
to you.
change the budget, that just changed the cost accounting part.
And-
Although I personally would like for it still to be underneath, I mean, this is just a personal thing, be under the enterprise fund concept, because it is that enterprise fund, you know. I know the intent is so that you won't have to, one of the intents is so you won't have to accumulate depreciation
And pension liability.
and pension liability. Yeah. Any other questions about that report? Moving on to, well, anybody got a question about mechanic?
There again, if we could just have the comparison from last year and some kind of updated backup for that. There are increases, and I didn't see any decreases, I saw increases, it looks like, or at least staying the same. Thank you.
Okay, so are we ready to move to the county library? Maybe probably the county library. Okay. I have some constituents that say they need more money.
Robert's gonna get it.
Any questions about,
Robert, you know how to turn it on?
okay,
You know how to turn it on?
District 3 SRO, I don't have any questions. Do y'all have? Title 4D distribution. Transfer out, we're transferring out money what is, Department 6500?
That's transfer out, sir.
I know,
That's money to the general fund. In this particular case, the 001 signifies it would be going back to the general fund.
but where's it coming from?
It's Title 4D.
Huh?
Title
From the 4D?
Yes, sir, the DSS money that comes.
Because they're paid for out of
Yes,
general
sir.
fund?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sheriff's Department, Title 4, I don't have any questions about that. No. All right, industry appreciate, well, that's nothing there. Mass Transportation Fund, nothing there. Mass Transportation Fund, that's the, now, see, now, here's what I don't understand. It's got $242,250 here, but over there it had $178,000 that we were transferring out. So,
We still have, let me make sure I'm not telling you.
so who's paying the rest of this? Is that the $50,000 from Tri-County?
We had projected 13,000 more in the grant that'll be used in the first quarter of the new fiscal year.
Well, yeah, but the 13 and 178 don't make up 242.
Okay, so you got 120 and 122 for 242. And you've got, the 50's coming from Tri-County Tech.
The 50 from Tri-County Tech, that's what I want to know. So that's 13,000 grant, 15,000, 50,000 from Tri-County Tech, and then the 178,000 plus or minus.
Exactly. Yes,
Okay, general fund money.
yes, sir.
All right. Then we got victims bill of right. I don't have any question about that at all. Then we got VOR for the solicitor. That's the thing here that Mr. Burns, that we have this provision in the back of the budget that says we only fund this on a year-by-year basis.
Yes, sir, I believe that's correct.
Isn't that?
The Victims Bill of Rights solicitor?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
No, sir.
All right, what is this?
This is the money that's, the courts assess for that victims where they have been traumatized. They collect this, and then these people help, are advocates for our victims.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Part of it's solicitor, part of it's sheriff. So sheriff has 2 employees and the solicitor has 2 employees that assist the victims, notify them when the defendants come into trial, etc. And when they get out of jail, that kind of thing. Keep them apprised of, what's going on.
Anybody got any questions? The sheriff, I have no questions about his 5161 budget. Then, I have no questions about his, 6,500, 100 transfer out budget. Y'all have any questions? Hazmat. Now, I've had a request from the chief of the hazmat team for the county to consider purchasing a building in the amount of $265,000 so that they'd have a permanent home. Mr. Dunn said he was gonna be getting with you, Mr. Burns, and for y'all to decide, I'm just saying what they're requesting. I'm not
Yes.
saying that we need to do it, but if, if it's a good thing, all right, if it's not a good thing, that's for y'all to decide, not for me. So, anybody have any questions about the rest of the hazmat budget? Mayor, emergency management assistance, nothing. The emergency management assistant FEMA, and y'all it's nothing there, there's nothing on 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. These have no budgets associated with them. All right, then on page 66, we got the grant 14SHSP05, safety to $6,000. Anybody got any questions about that? No questions? The LEMPB 14 grant. Anybody got any questions about those? No questions? The bond grant, well, that's nothing. The hazmat grant's nothing. No money's appropriated. It's a correct term. Upstate regional, $19,345. Now, that'll come out of a grant.
Yes, sir. All this is grants,
I know,
on the
it's all
165,
grant.
no county match
Sure.
whatsoever.
Any questions? No question. Page 71, I don't have any questions about that. Page 72, I don't have any questions about that. Page 73, I don't have any questions for y'all. No questions heard. 74 is the purchase of document stamps, is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
And that's funded actually by collecting revenue for the document stamp.
That's right, yes, sir.
Any questions about page 74? No. Page 75, there's no funds allocated. Page 76, anybody got any questions for the detention center canteen? I don't. Do y'all? Hearing none. No questions on 76. On 77, the 911 center. Now, this is the budget that only provides the hardware or whatever comes out the state
Training,
telephone line.
training, and so forth. Yes, sir. Very restricted.
All right, anybody got any questions?
I do.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
We've gone from personnel of 106,950 to 198,420. Are we hiring someone new over there?
No, ma'am, we transferred the communications director over there
Okay.
because state law allows.
So that would take some of the pressure off 5213,
Right.
that salary.
Yes, ma'am.
So was that budget reduced then, 5213?
By that salary, yes, sir.
By that salary?
Yes, sir.
And we can do the training and also the equipment procurement and all of that from that E911 revenue.
Yes,
What is
ma'am.
that projected to be again this year? I know it's back at the front of the book, but I've gotten.
Let's see, that's projected to be, ma'am, about 970,000 total, looking like.
And aren't we allowed to accrue in a fund balance what we don't use?
Yeah, definitely. Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Any other questions?
That's all. Thank you.
All right. So, we, 50063 is approved, well, approved for recommendation. And we got 50063, we got $14,000 for printing, I believe it is. Maybe I got it wrong. I mean, they never had any money for printing, but now they want $14,000.
That's the GIS portion of the E911.
Yeah.
Mike Freeman's personnel that prepare all these huge GIS maps and so forth, can avail themselves of these funds. So that's what this is about.
Well, why have they never had any in the past is my question. Now they need $14,000.
Yeah, he paid that out of his general fund budget, but he's asking for it to be paid out of the 911 tariff
Okay.
fund because it's permissible.
That's fine. Any other questions? to go to, page 80, which is tourism, promotion, recreation. This is for the, Vistas Bureau, where we pay them $138,000 in monthly or quarterly installation.
Yes, sir.
Do we need to just sort of put this to the side, Mr. Burns, until,
At this point in time, I would just leave it as is.
just leave it as?
Yes, sir.
Point in time. So any questions? So the state accommodation tax for tourism, promotion, and recreation is okay by the committee. State accommodation tax, $48,000 general fund. We're just moving that to the general fund.
Yes, sir.
Any questions? All right, then, we've got infrastructure, nothing there. We got nothing under, the bonds, because that's where people have put up bonds. West Lake Dairy Road, that's work in progress.
Sir?
That's work in progress.
Yes, sir.
And that's the same true as East Lake Dairy Road.
Mhm.
And the Boyd Street, that's done, so it's no money.
That's right.
And Cherokee Road, that's done.
Yes, sir.
Long Road Bridge, that's working in progress, or to be done.
Yes, sir. They're
The
working
Pike
on that.
Tower Road, that's work to be done.
They're working on that one.
Broadway Lake Road, that's to be done. Walker Road Bridge, that's to be done. James Road in Pattersville, that's to be done. Ragsdale Sidewalk, well, there's no money on that. Pressure Road Culvert, that's work in progress. Low Water, well, that's nothing, no budget. Building and grounds, parking lots. Now, what parking lots is this?
It's, Health Department, DSS, some more in the county that we have to maintain the buildings that we didn't get in this year's contract.
But now, is this for working on their buildings?
No, sir, the parking lot,
The parking
resurfacing
lot.
it like we're doing the annex currently.
So where does this money come from then?
Infrastructure,
From infrastructure?
yes, sir.
So we're spending $190,000 of our, 40-something thousand dollars of our infrastructure money on something that's a state mandated thing, is that right?
Right.
Right. Any problem?
May I ask a question real quick? Going back, where is Low Water Parkway?
Low Water Parkway. I'm
They've got a
sorry.
department request, but you haven't, made a recommendation. I was just curious.
No, has zero budget, so I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you.
All right, the next one is just transferring some money out to the general fund, right?
Yes, sir, that's that C-Fund match there.
All right, then we've got the county accommodation tax. This is where the money goes that our committees allocate.
Yes, sir. No, no, sir, this is our local accommodations tax here.
That's our local. All right,
Yes, sir.
so where do we spend the $62,000?
It's the Convention Visitors Bureau,
Well, that's where we actually pay the convention
Yes, sir.
bureau.
$150,000 a year.
Okay. And the CIP, what is that, $118,000?
That, $1,189,000.
Well,
most of it is
$1,118,000.
civics and a roof primarily.
Civics on a roof, that's where the money is.
Yes, sir.
All right, transfer out the general fund. Okay, any questions? Construction in progress, Hurricane Springs. Any question? Double Springs, well, that's nothing.
Here you go, sir, if I may interrupt, this, you asked about the 11,750
Yeah.
required match from the general fund. These are the projects that we have to match, and
Okay. All right. Well, the next one is Susan Street Park. Mountain View Park, well, that, no money. Timmerman boat ramp. That's from South, who's gonna fund that?
what's the match on that? What was the question?
No, the Timmerman boat ramp.
Duke Power gave almost $100,000.
Yeah, there's no
grant
match on
for
that.
funding.
Huh?
There's no match on that particular one,
That's a grant.
100,000,
No
yes,
grant,
sir,
no match.
straight out.
All right. Broadway Lake, well, I don't have a question on that. East-West Parkway, $16,000. Isn't that the money that I allocated to my, no, is that the money that's gonna come from Mike Gambrell and them, or what is that?
That's, the 12,500 PARD grant with 3,500 a match from the general fund.
That's
Okay,
Brian White.
that's from Brian White.
Yes.
So that's the $12,500
Yes.
and the $3,500 from the general fund.
Yes, sir.
Just that,
Leb Space parking lot. Leb Space parking lot.
Yes, sir.
Any questions on that? Local, well, there's nothing there. Nothing there. We got $365 under the Office of Justice. Any questions there? No questions? The Office of Justice Program, GAG grant. Any questions on the 50,600? Office of Program, JAG grant, 2015. Those don't have any match, do they?
Let's see, sir. No, sir.
And like Duke Power, that's the money that they give.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions about? Yeah, I know. Emergency medical services. I need guidance, Mr. Administrator.
EMS, Scott Stoller's budget, we're there. I think he's wanting to know if we just need to pass this up.
Do we just need the emergency, leave the
Leave as is right now,
EMS,
Crowder, please.
or
Leave as is right now.
just leave it as it is right now until
Yes.
some course of action can be well, some plans, strategic plan be put in place. Is that all right? All right. Grant and aid professional services, $25,000. What is that?
You're on page 118, sir?
116.
116, let me get back there. Professional services, that's the grant and aid program, that we get money from the state, we're a pass-through.
Okay. Yes. But who spends it?
The respective squads.
Huh?
Scott Stoller works with the respective squads and buys equipment and stuff for the supplies, basically.
Okay. All right. We got mass casualty, $55,000. Where does that come from?
The state,
State?
Yes, sir.
Does that require any match? I'm sure it probably doesn't.
no, sir, I'm sorry, that's federal money. That's the federal, HPP. Homelands, yeah. That's in case of a mass casualty that will provide, medical supplies.
All right. Then on page 118, professional FEMA, is that just a grant?
Yes, sir. No match.
Animal shelter, $130,000, medical and animal shelter. Where's that coming from?
That's donations at the animal shelter.
Donations. Do we already have that money in hand?
Yes, sir. It's in the bank, but you notice that fiscal year 14, we only spent 4,000, and we've only 6 months spent 3,200.
So we got $130,000 in the bank roughly.
Yes, sir. She tries to safeguard that and, keep it and not use it just for everyday operations.
All right, well, I don't have any questions about the sheriff's and ARC money on page 120. I don't have any questions about the drug fund. I don't have any questions about the other drug fund. Infrastructure reserve, was nothing there. And then we had the transfer outs. Any questions about the transfer outs? Either against the infrastructure or capital lease or sewer.
Okay, the capital lease for sewer, there's nothing there, okay, thank
Any question? Nobody got any question? All right, then we've got, orphanage and non-drug. Any questions? I don't have any questions. And so, do I have a motion that all the leaves that we just put all together under the grants?
Yes, sir.
A motion to approve moving some to, well, a motion by, Colonel Allen and a second by Honorable Cindy Wilson. That, all in favor? Let the record show it was. All right. May we have another 5 minute break, please?